Okay.
Hey guys, this is Mike Barnes, the financial first responder. I can tell you, you cannot afford to miss this episode. I have Miss Yolonda Castro with me, one of the most phenomenal tax people out there. I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't have a tax professional, you need this woman right here. I've watched her almost a year, and I've seen what type of value she provides to her clients. Yolanda, how you doing today?
I am awesome and amazing. Thank you for that introduction, Mike. I really, really appreciate you and thank you for inviting me to your platform.
Oh, thank you, thank you. No, the honor is mine. First, she a queen, she's a godly child, and she knows tax. So we're gonna have some fun, at least for a little while. So Yolanda, I ask everybody when they first come on this one question. And so this one question I'm gonna ask you is real simple. I'm going back to my notes.
Okay.
Who are you as a woman?
Wow. Who am I as a woman? I am a godly woman. I am a proud woman. I'm a humble woman. I am authentic.
Okay. All right. You heard it first. You heard it from this lady right here. See, all tax professionals are not stuck up, snobby, um, got their head in the books.
Right.
But she said first she was a godly woman.
Yes.
So let me ask you this. Why did you why did you go into the business of tax? Of all the things that you could have did, why tax?
I know I'll make it short.
Take your
First,
time.
yeah, first and foremost, I thought I was going to be an engineer actually. So I
Okay.
always kind of been like a numbers girl, but I also had let's say I'm not going to say a debating spirit, but I was good at problem solving and listen to debates and kind of interjecting. My dad used to say you should be a lawyer. Never went that route, but when I went to college I always thought about engineering, and then something in me was like, what about accounting? So I went the accounting route. And most people that finish their undergrad in accounting, people start off in accounting and they drop off. They go to like a simple major, like I don't want to say simple, but easier, like marketing or just straight business. I stuck on I steadfast on the accounting route. I had a teacher that was actually used to work for the IRS, and she taught my tax class so well that it just made me want to dig deeper into taxes. It was just something that I picked up on that I wanted to learn more about. So after taking her class, I graduated, went on to get my master's. So when I went to get my master's, you could do a concentration in taxation. So I did the concentration in taxation. And as I'm doing that, I'm also starting to do clients, just trying out my craft on what I learned. So from there, I just kept going and opened up my own tax business. And here I am today. Taxes is something that I always wanted to learn more and more about.
So as a financial first responder, we constantly are talking to especially first responders. So military, veterans, law enforcement, um, EMT workers, nurses, medical professionals. And one of the problems that we have in our community is that we make a decent wage or a decent salary, and we don't have a lot in write-offs. So having a professional like you on call or by retainer is probably one of the best things people you should want to have. And if you don't have a tax professional, you're talking to one or you're listening to one right now. So we one of the things I like to ask people is, what is your passion about tax? And you kind of alluded to it because you said you were a problem solver, but you got a story yourself that I've been trying to get you to tell, and I got you tonight. I need people,
Oh God.
especially women. I need women to understand that if you have a setup or you have a setback, you can have a setup for a comeback. So tell your story.
Okay. Look, he got me. I have to surrender tonight. I surrender. What Mike is saying that I am a mother of four. Well, I raised five kids and I'm divorced. You know, it happens in life, and you just got to go on. You got to pick up the pieces and keep moving forward. I know it's hard. It is very hard to get through divorce, especially when you was with someone for a very long time. But my story was I did go through a divorce, but I also was 100% self-employed. So I knew that I couldn't be stuck in that box, that I had to keep moving forward because what I killed is what I ate. So I had to keep focused no matter what. I had to keep myself empowered by the word. And that's why I said I'm a godly woman. I'm a woman that truly walks by faith. You know, I surrendered those golden handcuffs in 2008 when I moved to Georgia, and I committed myself to being out here in the land to learn as much as I could because I knew, you know, dedicate yourself to a 9 to 5. It's hard to build generational wealth. And sometimes you're chosen. And I knew a long time ago that I was chosen and that I had to do what I had to do. So going through a divorce, I had to keep myself, my mind, my mental intact, and keep my eye on the prize because I know that it wasn't about me. I had kids to raise. I had kids watching me. So I had to, I'm not saying you can't go through what you need to go through. You cry in the shower, you do what you have to do, but you get up every day and you face the world head on. As long as you got God on your side, I'm telling you, I'm a walking testimony. I can tell you some stories that he will provide. And he provided for me. And I'm here today to tell you that anything is possible.
Because he's our Jehovah Jireh.
Yes, he is.
So ladies, you heard that. And then some men, you know, because some men go through divorce and they get the kids or the children. You know, I like to ask this question, Yolanda, because sometimes people see us and they say, oh, they got everything together. And so I always ask, what are the top 3 mistakes that people make when they're doing their taxes? Like, what do you see that they just don't do that if they went and talked to a professional? Now, this lady is a bad woman. I don't know if she wants me to say this, but she has major companies that have her evaluating their employees' taxes. And what I mean by that is they do taxes for people, and then she come back and fact find, check, and make sure that the stuff is right. This is a bad woman because not too many people can say that. You know, you got CPAs, you got other tax professionals out here, and some of them know what they're doing and some don't. And I'm telling you right now, she can feed through the cow manure. Let's say it like that. So what are those 3 mistakes you think tax people make? Especially
Okay.
people that, you know, military, there's some stuff that happens that military qualify for, law enforcement, firefighters, doctors, nurses. They tend to make a lot of money, but you know, sometimes they don't know the right things to do with those taxes.
Okay, since I'm well versed, I have a lot of military, I have a lot of businesses, so I'm very seasoned across the board. One thing that I see with my military folks is that when you go into the military, you can pick your home state. You can
Mm,
pick a home state.
mm.
Pick a home state that doesn't have state taxes, like a Florida or Texas, because you guys can do that. Even if you were from Maryland, you can pick Florida, you can pick Texas. So, you know what this does? When you retire, guess what? You have a home state that you do not have to pay state taxes
Man,
for.
I wish I knew that.
And then your spouse, even if they're non-military, they can also piggyback off of the state that you picked. So I see that mistake all the time because you know when you start off in the military, you're not making what you want to make, and you're like, oh my gosh, my state taxes, my federal taxes. So I try to get people in the military to pick a state that does not have state taxes because it will help you with retirement and later down the road.
Can they change? Can they change that like at
You
any point?
can. You can change it. You can change it. And some folks is like, we can't change it. Yes, you can, because I've seen people do it.
So you telling me I could change my stuff to Texas or Florida?
If you're military, yes, you can. You
That
can
does
change
that
your home
count for
state.
reservists or is just straight active duty?
I think that's just active duty. I
Okay,
don't think
all right,
for reservists, I know that's for active duty.
okay.
Second mistake I see with your W-2 earners. I love you guys. I love you W-2 earners, but lately, I've been seeing that people are not paying enough taxes on their federal wages because they changed the W-4 form. So a lot of people will come up very, very short and paying federal taxes, and they're like, "Why do I owe?" You have to go to your payroll or your HR department and make sure that you do that new W-4 form so you can be taxed properly. It's totally different than how it used to be. They changed it during the pandemic. So I see a lot of people, let's say, upside down. But you need to pay attention to your pay stub. Because if you're making a certain amount and you look at your federal taxes and see that they're not taking enough out on you, you best believe if you're single, you don't have any dependents at the end of the year, you possibly can owe. So you have to look at your pay stub. So many people don't do that.
So let me get this straight. As a financial advisor, I always constantly got people asking me, "Hey, if I max out my TSP, if they're a government worker, or my 401k, I could be telling them, hey, based off your income, depending on what bracket you're in, you might can't get the full deduction in an IRA. However, you could do the Roth, a Roth 401k, do the total amount, like max it out,
Mm-hmm.
which what that basically means, people, is that you're going to pay all your taxes on that money up front. And then when you start taking it out, it's going to be tax free versus doing a traditional 401k or traditional IRA. You actually are getting a deduction. And so now you would be paying tax on the money that you've taken out and put in, which would actually increase that amount. So
Mm-hmm.
it's two types of pain of discipline or pain of regret. Do
Right.
you think that would be good financial advice for somebody maxing out their 401k or TSP?
Yes, I think that is awesome advice. And see, we match, Mike. I need you like you need me because I need somebody like you on the financial side. There's a big difference from a financial advisor to an accountant. I
Yes.
don't want to be on that side. That's your side. I'm gonna stay in my lane.
Okay. All
So
right.
yes, definitely. Some of my clients do need that talk because a lot of people do have retirements in military and they don't know what to do or how to even operate or roll over or what to invest in. So then there you come, the financial advisor, to advise them on that side, which you have way more knowledge than I do.
Well, I'm learning every day, Yolanda. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have a thing that I'm going to attach at the end of this video, which is called a comma score. And basically it asks 11 questions. The individual will then at that point be able to figure out what type of investor they are. And then, my team will follow up with them and basically say, hey, this is how Mike can help you. So that's one of the things that I'm going to offer out there to the public tonight, which is free to you. And then we
Yeah.
go from there. So what's the third thing? Because I cut you
Oh
off.
gosh, I know. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna try to narrow it down because there's so many,
Take
and
your
I'm
time.
going.
I'm good. Give the people what they want.
I'm going for my business owners here. I'm going. I'm
Okay.
coming after you, business owners. The biggest mistake I see, oh my gosh, is my business owners that make over 40K a year in their LLC. Self-employment tax is killing them. You need to make sure that you talk to a tax professional or a business professional and get your entity type switched. And it's not, let me back up. It's not your entity type because being an S corporation is a designation. It's not a LLC. It's not a business structure. It's a tax designation. So being an S corp will save you so much money. I see so many LLCs when they come to me, they're making over 100K a year, and the self employment tax is 15.3%. And
Hmm.
that's something that I constantly see all the time. And we have to stop. We have to get educated. Just like I tell people, I do not want to go out and give my oil change on my truck. So I take it to a mechanic because that's what he does. I could YouTube it, go to YouTube University, go to TikTok and try to figure it out. But I don't want to do that. That is not my lane. So I have to pay to play. I pay that professional to work on my car. Same thing with your taxes. So many people try to do their own taxes, and I understand. But once you make a certain amount of money, you want to pass that baton off because you're missing so much. You're leaving money on the table, and you should be tired of writing Uncle Sam a check. The tax code is written for investors and business owners. Sorry, W-2 workers, you're last on the totem pole because it's not written for W-2 earners. But if you're a W-2 earner and you have a business, so you can leverage the two. You can leverage the two, but you have to get with a tax professional that is feeding you. A lot of people is like, I don't want to know about taxes. I understand. But with my clients, I want to at least let you know the foundational pieces that make your taxes up. So if somebody does question you about your taxes, you just know the fundamentals, the foundation. I don't expect you to know what I know, but I love to teach as I do. I just don't do your taxes, say, here you go. No, I interview you before the process and after the process. We talk about it before I submit. So if you don't have that tax professional that's not doing that for you, you might want to find somebody else because you need to be educated. The IRS is getting more crafty. They're getting more auditors. So we have to do things the right way. And I'm going to say one more thing too, Mike, about my business owners, because I'm a business owner and it's very big. People do not keep books. They don't have QuickBooks. They have nothing to track their expenses. So at the end of the year, you want to write off everything, but you have nothing. You don't have receipts for me. You don't have a profit and loss statement, no balance sheet, no nothing. I suggest that you get QuickBooks. If you don't want to pay a bookkeeper to do it, try to do it yourself. QuickBooks is user friendly. It has an app in there where you can take pictures of your receipts. It even has Mileage IQ, which integrates with QuickBooks. So there's many things that you can do on your own, but as you grow, you're going to have to pass the baton because having accurate records leads to a lot of different things for you, not just preparing your taxes correctly and possibly not owing, but also it can lead into you going to the bank and getting business loans because you have your financials all together. You have your financial statements and your tax return. So it's a win-win at the end of the day.
Wow. She just dropped bars, diamonds, gems, all type of stuff. And you ain't even paid this late. Like, come on, people. Like, I know some of you guys, especially law enforcement, y'all are doing this 1099 stuff. I hope you're not taking cash under the table no more, but you actually started a business, a LLC or something, and they're paying you. You got the well over here. I have the True North Protection and Defense training where I train people to shoot as well. And I'm telling you, you're going out and you're doing different things. You have different programs. You got to protect yourself because, as she said, we're not preaching tax evasion here.
Right,
What we're preaching is being aware and understanding what you can and cannot write off. So
right.
don't get it twisted. She's giving you legitimate advice. Now it's up to you to either come to her or go to your tax professional and say, hey, I need to do this. So with that said, um, how do you, Yolanda, prepare your clients for tax season? Like, do you give them like these are the things that they need to be working on during the year? Or are you giving tax strategy? Or are you waiting till the last minute? Because I don't think you're a last minute type of person. I think you're trying to keep their records in order. So how do you do that? What do you do?
Okay, I do offer bookkeeping services, and I do have clients that are monthly with bookkeeping and tax strategies. So as I'm doing your bookkeeping, I'm also forecasting. We're looking at different general ledger accounts to see, okay, where you can save, and then I'm looking at things like you can write off that you're missing. So it's important that you do have somebody at least do tax strategies once a quarter for you so that you can stay ready. Because when it's in the season, when it's time to prepare your taxes, it's too late. It's too late to go back and do strategy. So I know a lot of people, don't like doing that, but at the end of the day, it really saves you. People are amazed on what they learn. And I think too, Mike, and you probably noticed this, we take for granted the information that we know. We talk to people like if as though they should know what we're saying. And they find so much value just in the general conversation. It's like, wow, I really enlightened that person. And I didn't even realize they didn't know like just the simple things. So I do prepare my clients throughout the year on tax strategies. I try to at least do like an email or a text to say, hey, what's going on with your business? Let's chat. Let's jump on a Zoom. So that's the things that I do try to encourage with my clients, especially my business owners.
And that's so important because especially, and I hate to say in our community, but in communities in general, you have a lot of people who, because they don't seek advice, and Yolanda and I met in a mastermind, okay, which means we paid a mentor to get better. And some of you, the last time you paid for anything, it's not a self-help book. It's not, it's probably your Netflix account. You're more interested in being entertained than being educated. And so what I'm saying and what she's saying to you is stop being a victim.
Right.
Don't have a victim mentality when it comes to tax.
Right.
Have a victor mentality. You can be a victor of this situation. She's helped a lot of people who didn't have the right financial or tax advice, and she can help you, but you have to be willing to come to her humbly and say, hey, I'm three years down, or whatever the
Gosh.
situation is. And then let her walk you through those issues. Everybody always talks to me and they ask me a question. They say, hey, what investment should I do if I have this type of money? Well, it depends. I need to do a financial plan. So
Right.
at the same time, I can't give you advice on something that's arbitrary, and she can't give you advice on tax.
Right.
So that being said, what advice would you give people if they wanted to start out in the tax business? Because you train people.
I am. I just picked up another title, coach. Yo, Coach Yolanda, actually love training people how to do taxes the right way. All you guys out there that are tax professionals, CPAs, EAs, you know that due diligence is big. So I love to teach people on how to prepare taxes correctly, meaning that you have all your documentation from your customer, from your client. So if you are in the audit that you are not scrambling to get paperwork, you have everything to show the IRS. People just get scared. They lose sleep at night when they get a letter from the IRS, and they're just people just like us. And audits are random. It happens to the best of us. I have been audited before, and I'm a tax professional. But if you have your documentation, you have no worries. That's why I said also you have to know what you're putting on people's taxes also, and that you're doing the right thing. But the big thing that I teach new tax professionals about is the right documentation to gather, because due diligence is really big for us.
Wow, she's spitting bars again. That due diligence piece.
Yes, very important.
Unfortunately, if you are one of those people that are on a shoestring budget, which means as a business owner, you're piecing your stuff together. There's people out there can help you with financing, things of that nature. But now you've done all the financing and you're now making the money. Now is when you seek out the professional. Actually, you should seek out the professional before you make the money, because
Right.
then you don't make the mistakes that year or 2 years it took for you to start making over 40,000. You don't make those same mistakes because you've been educated. And that's the
Right.
reason why I got her on the show tonight, is to educate you a little bit. And no, you're not going to get all of it tonight. But if you follow her, you'll be able to get some of that information. With that said, we talked about some of the services you provide. You said bookkeeping, you said tax strategy. Are there any others? And you do coaching or training. Are there any
Mm-hmm.
other services that your clients get? Maybe.
Yes. I also do, I help people get their 501c certification. And
Okay.
that's from beginning to end, like interviewing you, helping with your business plan, helping you write proper bylaws, helping you with that operating agreement. And then the final step is getting your 501c certification. I also help
Hold on,
people.
hold on, hold on. Let's go back. Because
Okay.
remember now, most of these people are employees, military.
Okay.
They might not know what a 501c3 is. Kind of
Okay.
explain that for them.
Yeah, a 501c3 is a nonprofit. That's another name. If you heard of a nonprofit, a lot of people are starting nonprofit organizations because they know there's a lot of grant money out here that can help people change lives. And most people start a nonprofit because they're passionate about something, some kind of business, and they want to bring it to life, but they need funding. And they know the government has all these grants out here, so they need a nonprofit organization to make those things happen. So I help people and assist in getting their nonprofit.
So for all you people out here that are service oriented and you always wanted to have your own foundation, your own nonprofit, and maybe you didn't even know it was called that. Churches are not the only things that are nonprofit, and
Yeah,
charities.
you're
So,
right.
she's the person that can help you do the nonprofit if that's what you want to do. All right. And you were getting ready to say something else before I cut you off, and I apologize.
Oh, no worries. And I also try to do off season. I don't like to do this while season is firing hot. I also help people grow business credit. But it is a challenge because you have to be teachable and you have to listen. You have to follow instruction because business credit is a real thing. People, I remember years ago when I first became an entrepreneur, someone told me it takes 10 years to get business credit. I'm like, 10 years. So once they told me that, it deterred me. So I never even looked at it. I never thought it was a real thing until about 2018. Here we go, back to divorce, going through the divorce. And I'm just being very transparent, going through a divorce, when you can't agree, sometimes you have to do what you have to do. So I had to file bankruptcy. I could not use my personal credit for anything because I
Wait a
filed
minute,
a
wait a
chapter.
minute, wait a minute. Because see, people right now, they like, this lady done been through pure hell, and she's come out on the other side. Yes, she has. She's went through divorce, she filed bankruptcy, and now she's successful. So if she can do it, with God's
Yeah.
help, anybody can do it.
Yes, and I'm telling you, it's no difference between you and I. You just have to be faithful and stay to the course. As I was saying, I had to file bankruptcy. I could not get anything on my personal credit, and that was new to me. When you're used to getting anything you wanted, I mean, from cars to whatever, and then you're restricted, it was a painful season. So I had to think of another way to obtain credit because you need credit. I'm sorry, I hate when people say, oh, you don't need credit. That's old fashioned thinking. That's like our parents' parents when they used to teach credit like it was a bad thing. And actually, credit is not a bad thing if you maintain it correctly. So I had to find another avenue without touching my personal because it had to sit and simmer. And when you do a chapter 13, you're in a continuous bankruptcy, meaning that people wouldn't even rent your apartment, a house, because you can throw anything in that bankruptcy still because it's open, because I had to pay off my creditors. So anyway, I looked at business credit. I'm like, okay, let me look at this. So I started growing business credit on one of my LLCs. And voila, in 4 months, I had credit cards. I even was able to purchase a vehicle on business credit, and not just a vehicle, an SUV, a luxury SUV on business credit. And guess where that went? On my tax return as a depreciable asset because I am a business owner. So
That
it's
first
so
year.
many different things that you can do. You just have to be open. You have to find the right mentor and the right teacher, because everybody's out here talking about this and that and everything. Before, the pandemic hit, YouTube, it wasn't as big. Everybody wasn't on Instagram talking about this and that. This is something that I've always had in me. And you know how some people are silent about what they know and they just have a small village they teach to. So I
Yep.
never felt a need to go outside of my village, because my village was my tax clients. And then I had their parents, and then I did their kids' taxes. Their kids grew up, and then they had kids. Then I'm doing their taxes. So I have generations that I have done taxes for, and they're still my clients from day one. So
That's awesome.
I never felt the need to go outside of that little village. But I was like, okay, Yolanda, being in a mastermind, they taught us that you have to reach the masses if you really want to have a great impact. So that's when I said, okay, I got to hit these YouTube streets. I'm on it, Mike. I'm coming to YouTube. You inspired me, Mike. I'm telling you, talked about it and you did it. I am so proud of you, Mike. And being on Instagram and Facebook. So those are things that I need to put in place to talk to masses of people. And that's why I really thank you for inviting me to this platform. This is one of the first times that I've been on the platform talking about myself, talking about taxes, this being totally transparent. So I thank you for that, Mike.
You're most welcome. So you're building a training course now, or you already have it in place?
Okay, okay. When you're a tax professional, wherever you are, I believe that you should have a village of like minds. So I'm not alone. I have a village of like minds that I can go to if I want to talk, because tax season is very stressful and you need to blow off smoke and talk to people that might can help you or advise you. So I'm saying this to say I belong to a village of tax professionals that they have tax offices. They might have like 6 or 7 tax offices. So they need someone like me that can go in and teach their clients due diligence, but also the new tax professionals, they need to be confident. They need to be empowered. Just speak to them from a real place. Just like you and I are having this conversation, just to find their confidence that they can do that return and feel comfortable on what they did. So that's one thing that I am in the process of doing. Actually, in February, that I'm going to be doing overseeing some offices for a lady that has a couple of tax clients.
Okay, that's awesome. So what options do you have for people to work with you? Like, you have your website up or a
Yeah.
pricing list or something like that that you can send me. I can put in the notes for this interview, because I think people eventually, whether it's now or 5 months from now, are going to see this video and they're going to be like, man, I want to actually work with that lady, but I don't know how to get in touch with her. So you don't have to divulge prices because prices change.
Hmm.
And so, are you accepting clients right now? As of
I
the 30th of January, 2024, are you accepting new clients?
I am accepting clients, and Mike, we talked about this offline. We have to learn how to give in and invite other people in our village.
Right.
I am so hands-on with all my clients that I touch every return. I go through everything. So now I'm training people to come on and work with me that I can help pass the baton to, that they can come and assist me because I need help, because my business is constantly growing because of all these services that I am offering now. So I do need help. So I do have information about my prices. I don't give like a set price. I can give a starting price because I don't like to overstep or overquote or underquote. So I like to see what I'm working with and what documents you have and what schedules I have to do, and then we can go from there.
Okay. And understand she is a professional, guys and ladies, and understand price is only an issue in the absence of value. So if you value getting your taxes done completely correct with a person that's been doing it for a number of years, not somebody that just picked up something, took a course, and now they doing taxes, this is the lady for you to talk to, right? So with that said, how do the people contact you and follow you? And we'll make sure that it's dropped in the link, because I know that you got another meeting in a little while, and I don't want to hold you up. So how do they get in touch with you?
Yes, my website is mycommunitysolutionsinc.com. As you can see, look, I'm high, my the name of my company is in the background here. And my DBA is Community Tax Advisory. But that is my S corp name, as you can see right here. And you can find me on Facebook at under Yolonda Castro, and that's YOLO, YOLONDA Castro. And also my Instagram is the same, is my name.
Well, I definitely appreciate you taking the time to talk to us tonight. People, please follow up with this young lady. And you're not gonna believe this, but she just became a grandma. She fine and she got a grandchild. And this baby girl looks so beautiful in the pictures. I want to
Oh, thank you.
congratulate you publicly, because
Thank
even though
you.
it's your daughter and her spouse or
Yeah.
significant other had this child, that baby is still your grandbaby, and they
Oh,
probably gonna be calling you Mima. And she gonna be a rich Mima, not
yes, she
no broke
is.
Mima, a rich Mima. So
Yes, she is. Thank you, Mike. I'm telling you, people used to say grandparents, when you get a grandbaby, it's a different kind of love. And I was like, really? Now I'm experiencing it. And it is so amazing. It's so awesome. I don't know what to do with myself right now. And I'm like, she came during the beginning of tax season. I gotta focus. So forgive me, clients, like I might drift off a couple hours because I'm playing with the baby or just looking at her on FaceTime. I'm constantly calling my daughter, but I am so in love. I am in love with my granddaughter. She is so precious.
So with that said, we're going to end this interview, but I can tell you right now, please reach out to this young lady and let her help you with your tax questions and tax situation. Until we talk again, God bless. Good night.